G'day and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally and I'm in Sydney. I'm at the 2025 RIU Resources Roundup and I'm having a chat with Frazer Tabeart of Alma Metals. Frazer, good to see you again. It's always good to catch up.
Yeah, thanks Wally. Good to see you.
And Alma Metals, okay, so the big news at Alma Metals at the moment is your Briggs project. Your copper project up in Queensland.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you've had some just news emanating now to there. Like a broken sieve. So tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I guess the two sort of key pieces of information we've put out in the last month or so is a major resource update. So for the first time there's an indicated component to the resource, so from infill drilling. The overall resource now has gone up to 440 million tonnes, of which exactly 1/4 is in the indicated category. The indicated category is at about 0.27% copper, so a slight increase on the average grade. And it's right at surface and right in the middle of the deposit, so it's that'll be a good area for sort of a starter pit. And if we drop the cut-off grade to say 0.15%, then you double the resource tonnes and double the amount of copper. So it's turning into a big deposit. It's over 2 million tonnes of copper in there. I guess the other key component is we've updated our MET test work. So we've gone through a whole series of batch tests and lock cycle tests. The main thing is we're getting a really good recovery, 95% copper recovery into a high grade, 25 to 30% con at very coarse grind sizes. So that means power costs are going to be down, and so operating costs in the processing plant will be nice and low as well.
Yeah.
So you couple that with good open pit geometry, low strip ratio, low processing costs. It looks like we've got a project. So that's something we're going to put into the mining scoping study now, and should have results on that in about 3 to 4 months.
All right. Just going back to you've got that indicated part of the resource now, which is very important. So does that mean more drilling to be done to increase that indicated part?
Exactly that. Yeah. So we've planned another. Well, I think about another 8,000 metres of drilling that I've already planned, so that'll be about another 30 holes, and that's predominantly to turn at least some of the inferred resource into indicated. So we'd love to get that indicated up to sort of the 250 million tonne stage, and that would then more than cover the first sort of 10 to 20 years of mine life, and that would give us what we need to go then into a pre-feasibility study with some confidence.
All right, and in Queensland, of course, which is sort of renowned for its copper projects, as WA is not renowned for gold projects, you're in the right area for what you want to do.
Absolutely, and we're really supportive of state government. So we've been lucky to get a grant for $250,000 to help offset the cost of a deep hole across the whole project, and that'll test a potential deep conductor from a geophysical survey. But you never know, it might be some high-grade copper. So. That'll be an interesting one to look out for as well.
All right, so as we were saying at the start, there's been a lot of good news coming out, and from my point of view, it can only mean from what you've just told me then there's going to be a lot of good news leading out from now. Yeah,
that's right. So we've still got a little bit more MET work to do, so we're looking at some really coarse grind, sort of 330 micron stuff, which is looking promising. So that'll be out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Then we'll get that deep drill hole underway, probably sometime in June, and then I think sometime in August we hope to get the results of that scoping study out. So quite a lot of serious news flow over the next 3 to 4 months.
And as far as copper projects go, I mean, how many are there around at the moment? How important it is to get another one up?
Look, obviously, copper's a major industrial mineral, and particularly in the context of global decarbonisation and the change to renewable energy and so on. So, the demand for copper is the sort of steady cumulative growth. The challenge is there's a lot of issues on the supply side. For a variety of reasons, we don't need to go into those. But there's a big sort of gap in supply that emerges in about 2 years. So, and copper projects take a long time to permit. So we've got to get that pipeline going. We've probably already missed the boat, as in the whole industry has dropped the ball, and there aren't enough copper projects going through that permitting stage, and all that's going to do is put even more pressure on the price in a positive sense, which means projects like this should jump up higher in the value curve in the next 2 or 3 years.
All right. Yeah, well, that's interesting to know. That's the sort of thing that people, really don't sort of take enough notice of, I suppose.
I think so. Yeah, and I think particularly with these big projects, you've got to, you're looking at a 3 to 4 year permitting time frame, and a project that's got a life of 25 to 50 years. You've got to take those long-term views and don't get too stressed about where you are in the cycle when you start building the thing. I mean, obviously, you'd prefer to be building it into an upcycle so you can maximise early cash flow. But these are projects that have got a life cycle that's more than 2 or 3 times the commodity cycle. So you don't have to worry too much about that.
Yep.
You just want to make sure you get it into production as soon as you can.
Well, it sounds like you're on the right track at Briggs, and it sounds like it's developing into something that people should be taking notice of.
I think so. I think particularly keep an eye out for those scoping study numbers. We'll actually then be able to quantify just what it's going to cost to deliver a pound of copper from this project. I think it'll surprise quite a few people.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck with everything, and I hope it goes well. And